We just talked about a statement from Justin Bieber that he said flatly he is not and never was any sort of victim of Sean Diddy Combs. It certainly does give believers one less thing to worry about, but it does leave about a dozen other things on the table, including his bizarre behavior in public, his gaunt and sickly appearance, reports that his marriage is in trouble, reports that he's flat broke, and also that he's tangled up with a church that some say is more like a cult. TMZ just dropped an investigative special called What Happened to Justin Bieber? And I talked to Harvey Levin about the relatively new spiritual leader who is in Justin's life.
Justin has always had a Svengali in his life. Scooter Braun was kind of a surrogate father, manager. He was everything to Justin. And then there was this pastor, when Justin got deeply involved in the church, Carl Lentz, who assumed that role. There is another pastor now, the head of Church Home. His name is Judah Smith. Judah Smith is different. I mean, Judah Smith is a pastor who was also on the board of Justin's clothing company, although he says he didn't make any money off of it. But he's involved in Justin's business and some people think almost running Justin's life. And Justin gloms on to stuff like this. And there are people who think that Judah Smith runs a cult. Judah Smith says absolutely not. But there are people who say this is very culty. And Justin is deeply involved in it. And what's happened while he's been in this church is Justin has jettisoned almost his entire circle of friends and associates since he's been involved in the church. And the church now is involved in everything, to the point that the business manager, we're told, who is also a member of the board in the church, went to Scooter Braun, who is Jewish, and said, I am a woman of the cloth. And, and before that, Justin and Judah confronted Scooter and said, you've got to believe in Jesus. And Scooter's Jewish. So eventually this business manager said, I am a woman of the cloth. We can forgive you, but we cannot work with you anymore, and cut him off. So the church is really like this with Justin Bieber.
Big question. You mentioned that he has earned upwards of $1 billion in his career. Where is all the money?
I know. They spend like crazy. I mean, they have multiple mega mansions that they paid cash for. Everywhere they go, they take these heavy jets. And, these jets, if you go from L.A. to Tokyo and back on one of the jets that could be $700,000. So I know what you're saying. We've seen it with other stars, too. We've seen it with athletes. You can blow through a tremendous amount of money. And part of it may just be squandering, and part of it may be just living that luxurious life. But I'm telling you, the words we got from people who are involved with this and with him were that in 2022, these are their words, he was on the verge of financial collapse.
I suppose if you think about it, if you're taking $1 million flight to Tokyo, right, there are only 999 of those in $1 billion. So
right.
If you're going to behave that way over and over and over, you can blow through it pretty quickly. And everybody knows you don't get all that money. You get about half of that. Once you're taxed, you pay managers, you pay fees, you pay agents, you pay everything.
50% for taxes, 20% for managers, 5% for lawyers, and so on, publicists. It gets whittled down real quickly.
Yeah. Okay. One last quick question. Is there a chance for Justin Bieber to make a comeback? Because I am a huge fan, and I don't think he's recorded for 4 years.
I'm glad you asked that. And we end the show with this. Yes. Justin Bieber is now in Iceland. And by the way, he bought out a hotel for $60,000 a night, Ashleigh. So, right. But he's there with other artists. He's recording music. So he's going to do that. But when you think about Justin Bieber, he seems to hate touring. It really takes a toll on him. But if Justin Bieber just did a residency whenever he wanted, he could make millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, he is every bit the level of Adele and maybe bigger. And so Justin Bieber, even if you thought of this 31-year-old as a legacy act, It's an act that will live for decades and decades. And who knows, this music may well be great, but, you know, his fans, some of his fans were born when Baby came out. So, you know, time marches on. And even if, look, maybe this will be it probably will be a #1 record, at least at the beginning. And maybe it'll be just as big as everything else. But even if it isn't, Justin Bieber has got a lock on a career for the rest of his life.
31. I have relish in the fridge that's 31. I mean, that is... Harvey, I love you to pieces. Good luck with the special.
Thank you. It's streaming on Hulu right now.
I'm watching it. I'm going to run, not walk. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
And again, the special is called What Happened to Justin Bieber, streaming on Hulu.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.